This is the question that many of us as Seventh-day Adventists that live in the island has been asking. And even this year with the hurricane that have passed by, this question has become more of an importance of all the destruction that happened to so many of the islands in the Caribbean. So today we want to look at a study to see, if an island is a city. Now, we know the islands of the seas, the Caribbean islands. More specifically, there are other islands, but we're going to look at in terms of those of us that live here in the Caribbean, as this is where most of the storms passed and damaged this year. So we look at the book Last Day Events, and we're going to read some quotes. It said, the cities of today are fast becoming like Sodom and Gomorrah. The many holidays encourage idleness. And as we go through these quotes, each one of us have to, based on the quotes, and we got to make up our mind as to where we're living. Does these things fit? Like this quote, is where we live in fast becoming like Sodom and Gomorrah? The next sentence says, the many holidays encourage idleness. The exciting sports, theater going, horse racing, gambling, liquor drinking, and reveling stimulate every passion to intense activity. The youth are swept away by the popular current. And that's Last Day Events 110, paragraph 2. So this is the question we have to apply as Christians, as God's people. Is the place we're living in, is it becoming like Sodom and Gomorrah? Are there many holidays that encourage idleness? The exciting sports, theater going, horse racing, gambling, liquor drinking, and so forth. Are these things creeping into your area? Are they affecting you? Are they affecting your children, your family? It said, light has been given me that the cities will be filled with confusion, violence, and crime, and that these things will increase till the end of this earth history. Another question this is another question we can put ourselves. Is the place that we're living in, is it filled with confusion and violence and crime? And if so, then it will classify as a city. And this study is not limited to an island. It goes for wherever you live. But again, we are looking at the island since there were so many storms, so many destructions, and historical in nature in terms of the sizes. So we want to know if where we live in is a city. This can apply whether you're on a continent or an island. It says this, the world over, cities are becoming hotbeds of vice. On every hand are the sights and sounds of evil. Everywhere are enticements to sensuality and dissipation. That's on Last Day Events 110, paragraph 4. When God's restraining hand is removed, the destroyer begins his work. Then in our cities, the greatest calamities will come. Have we seen some great calamities, even some historical? 185 miles per hour hurricane winds, 135 miles per hour winds. Are these the new norm? Are we going to be seeing more of these? And what does it all mean? In light of everything that is going on in the world, the Sodom and Gomorrah, homosexuality, the crimes, the corruption, we are seeing definitely that we're living in the last days. And then we're seeing these calamities. So then we have to ask ourselves, where we live in, does it meet the Bible criteria of country living? And we have seen where entire islands, territories were devastated. Like in the case of Barbuda, I read where it is said it is uninhabitable. So we then gotta ask ourselves the question, is this where God wants us to be at this time? The end is near, and every city is to be turned upside down every way. There will be confusion in every city. Everything that can be shaken is to be shaken, and we do not know what will come next. The judgment will be according to the wickedness of the people and the light of truth that they have had Last Day Events 111, paragraph 3. Again, we can apply this quote to where we live in. And is there confusion there? It says that the cities will be turned upside down in every way. Are we seeing this, brothers and sisters? It says, should we rebuild? Question, should we rebuild in a city that has been destroyed? The Lord calls for his people to locate away from the cities. For in such an hour you think not fire and brimstone will rain down from heaven upon these cities. Proportionate to their sins will be their visitation. When one city is destroyed, let not our people regard this matter as a light affair, and think that they may, if favorable opportunity offers, build themselves home in that same destroyed city. Letter 158, 1906, paragraph 3. So when one city is destroyed, when God's judgment have come upon a city, then we are not to rebuild in these cities if we find a so-called deal, see something selling cheap. That's not God's plan for us. And Hurricane Maria and Irma passed through the Caribbean so close, one behind the other. Usually it takes maybe most time like years before another hurricane with such power pass in a particular area. And Irma and Maria pass very close in the same area. Some of the same islands were affected, such as the Virgin Islands. They were affected by Irma, they were affected by Maria. And very powerful storm, 175 miles per hour, 185 miles per hour wind. We have to reason from cause to effect. Great precaution was taken to make everything in San Francisco secure against earthquakes, floods, and fires. Yet today, that great city is lying a mass of debris. Where is there one who, seeing this, can fail to reason from cause to effect? We have seen the crime. We have seen the corruption. We have seen the wickedness. And then we see the destruction. Can we reason from cause to effect? The cause that we do not research out. What is causing these destruction? God wants us to be wise as serpent, but harmless as dove. It is no time now for God's people to be fixing their affections or laying up their treasure in the world. The time is not far distant when, like the early disciples, we shall be forced to seek a refuge in desolate and solitary places. As the siege of Jerusalem by the Roman armies was a signal for flight to the Judean Christians, so the assumption of power on the part of our nation in a decree enforcing the papal Sabbath will be a warning to us. It will then be time to leave the large cities, preparatory to leaving the smaller ones, for retired home in secluded places among the mountains. So we see here that back when the first Sunday law was about to be passed, back in 1888, it was time then to leave the larger cities, preparatory to leaving the smaller ones for retired homes in secluded places among the mountains. So many of the islands today would be considered small cities in terms of the population and the influence. But remember, it was a progression. We were to move from the larger cities back then to the smaller ones, but now even the smaller ones are not safe to live in. So if you find that your island, if you find your community that you're living in has become a large city or a small city, because some of the islands even have large cities. I'm thinking of San Juan, Puerto Rico, for instance, Kingston, Jamaica, and others, where there's over 1 million or maybe hundreds of thousands of residents in a compacted area. Some of the island doesn't have that large of a population, but they have what would be considered a small cities. So it is time even to leave what you would call a smaller city. If the corruption, the crime, homosexuality, it's all overspreading to where you are, to your family, then it's time for us to leave. This is what you would call a city. and it's time to move to secluded places among the mountain. Should we remain in the cities? Our cities are increasing in wickedness, and it is becoming more and more evident that those who remain in them unnecessarily do so at the peril of their soul's salvation. Last Day Events 119, paragraph 1. So it is time to leave the cities if you find that where you live in is a city. Those who do so, we are taking a risk unnecessarily. We could lose our own soul salvation. God wants us to make wise decisions. They followed him out of the cities. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. Matthew chapter 14 and verse 13. Out of the cities, out of the cities. This is the message the Lord has been giving me. The earthquakes will come, the floods will come, and we can also say the hurricanes will come, and we have seen them come in 2017. And we are not to establish ourselves in the wicked cities where the enemy is served in every way and where God is so often forgotten. Country Living 31, paragraph 4. God calls upon us to get out of the cities. Let's follow Christ out of the cities, brethren. We are truly living in the last days. Just recently, someone went into a church in the United States and killed 26 people in a church, a place that was once considered sacred. What is the world coming to? Where nothing is being respected no more. It's as if we are not afraid of neither God nor man. And then in Australia, just this Wednesday, the people voted to approve same-sex marriage. So their parliament, their government will soon, no doubt, implement same-sex marriage. So this same-sex marriage is spreading like wildfire, and we know the Bible tells us that just like as it was in the days of Lot, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. So we are right there, brethren, brothers and sisters. So we know country living, and we'll do a study on country living from the Bible, because you see, many people sometimes think it's only the spirit of prophecy talks about country living, but you can find country living, the principle, in the Bible, because you see, the spirit of prophecy and the Bible, they don't contradict. They're the same spirit inspired both. And country living is a beautiful thing, brothers and sisters. It is time. Time is almost finished. So, brothers and sisters, may God bless you. I pray that this study has been a help. And I pray that if you have been so impressed, you will make haste. Time is short. God will open the way. God will provide all our needs according to his riches in glory. So bring a petition before him and ask him where he will have you to go. If you have found out where you live in is a city, and it's time to move. God bless.